My name is Castle0 Vlogs, and today we are going to be talking about a certain thing that happened on the Fresh and Fit podcast.
Your feminine energy?
You got a shrimp dick act.
No, with the shrimp dicks. I don't be. If you're rude, I will not be nice to you.
No.
I'll be nice to you.
I think it happened about a day ago at the time of this recording. Long story short, DJ Akademiks ended up roasting this chick. I think they were calling her Miss Brazilian. So from this point on, we're going to be addressing her by that name. So a bunch of crazy stuff happened. I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen the video. So this video is going to be a little bit different from just reacting to like the rest of the people. What I'm going to be doing is talk about key factors on why it happened, who's at fault, and was it avoidable. So if you guys are interested in that, before we get in the video, make sure you guys are subscribing, comment, help me get my video out there in this jungle that we call YouTube. So without further ado, we're going to be getting into this right now.
Maniac for that trap.
Alright guys, so to analyze this properly, we're going to need to get to the beginning of it. How did it start, and basically who is the one that started it. The whole thing started with first Sneako getting on the podcast, and him and Miss Brazilian were kind of going back and forth, but they were mostly doing it jokingly. They, were saying the thing. He said she sounded like a dude, or yeah, she has a deep voice, sound like a dude. She was saying since he's Asian, he has a small penis. Low-hanging fruit, but they both were doing their thing. It was never really that serious, if you guys noticed. They were kind of going at it, but at the end of the day, both of them were taking it as a joke. And surprisingly, for her to be a female, she actually was taking the joke kind of like one of the guys when the guy's getting roasted, or how they be saying, Fresh is really crispy, or Myron, he doesn't have any hair. They always laugh, and I think that she was overall joking, and I think that Sneako was overall joking. Between the two, I just didn't really see any true anger between the two. They didn't like each other, but I think that they were doing it, in a way where it didn't get out of control. It was too humorous. You guys can see that, Mike was laughing, Fresh was laughing, everyone was laughing, even the girls were laughing. It was low-hanging fruit, but it didn't mess up at least the quality of the podcast at that point.
Fresh sucking your toes.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah. That's sexy for women.
Don't use my dog.
We like
What?
it. Or it's my. We know what I'm saying.
Can we go to the chats, man? I haven't enough of this, man.
So everything was fine until Ak, known as DJ Akademiks, started going off on Miss Brazilian, and they kind of were going back and forth too. Sneako and Akademiks were kind of coming at her. She was a very masculine looking chick, and she had a deep voice. But one of the main things on the show that I like about the show personally is that they always attack the argument. They actually attack the person on a personal level because, well, anyone can do that. It's not very interesting, unless it's like a roast. And this show isn't about a roast, it's more so about moral improvement and, just talking about factual things that men and women both have to deal with. So it goes kind of against the show, what the show's about, though it was humorous. The main problem is that Akademiks kept bringing it up, right? It would be kind of quiet, they'll start reading some comments, and I know where he'll just bring it up for no reason. Now, he was kind of nitpicking on her, and I think that's fine. I don't think that it was actually a problem at that time, but what I know for a fact is when he was saying, well, I'm gonna have a clip for you guys, but he basically was saying, when you have sex or when you're giving head, do you use that deep voice?
I heard about you. I'm sorry.
Bitch, we never heard about you.
Yeah.
Because he said he couldn't get her hard on with, her having such a deep voice. And then she rebutted, pretty much saying that he lost weight, he could see his own penis, yada, yada, yada.
To make a little bit of noise.
No, I'm just saying, if I heard Pop Smoke talking from heaven while I'm stroking, I'm soft. Real rap.
What do you have to do? Lose some weight until you can see your dick, nigga.
She got that.
Oh, shit.
So you're saying,
That happened. It was all jokes up until the point when she said that. And then he started getting angry and he felt disrespected.
we don't take no disrespect lightly.
So that's really important when it comes to this because he's the one who took it personally. Everyone else didn't take it personally, everyone was still laughing. Then he took it personally. He exposed some other chick for, I guess, thoughting it out. And then he started really grinding into this chick. And don't get me wrong, as entertaining as it was unnecessary, and he got his feelings, and that's really usually what the women do. So yeah, the whole thing started was actually Akademiks. He's the one who got offended, and it was fine up until that point. Now I want you guys to really notice something, because I saw a bunch of people talking about Sneako, you know, his beta, Sneako this, Sneako that. Sneako actually was backing off, to be honest with you guys. And if you guys can see in his face when Akademiks was acting crazy, Sneako was kind of like, he was laughing because it was humorous, but he wasn't like nitpicking. He was just like if you guys can see his face, I'll show you guys a clip. He was like, whoa, like this is pretty crazy, right? But when Act started going off, you know, like I said, Sneako backed off when Act got out of control. But here's the main thing: when Act told Sneako to speak up, and I quote, "Learn from Big Act," is what he said to Sneako. Sneako started attacking this Brazilian. You could see in Sneako's face, though, he still wasn't really doing it. He kind of just thought of some stuff to say the trash talk, right? So
we not done. We not done. Sneako, you saw you on the show? Learn from Big Act.
So I know that they said that they both were drinking or whatever, high. I don't really know. Though it's not an excuse, but it would kind of prove their odd behavior, right? But mainly, he started doing it because Akademiks told him to, right? And Akademiks would be kind of like a role model for Sneako, considering that he's successful and Sneako wants to be rich. Who doesn't, right? But Sneako wants to be rich, so he kind of sees him as a role model, like, okay, this is what you do to get a fan base, to get money, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. They're obviously close because they were hanging out before they were on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Now, it doesn't excuse Sneako for doing what he did, but it actually kind of explains that he's trying to like man up, right? It seems like Sneako tries to prove himself all the time. He's supposed to be like an alpha or whatever, a red pill. But there's a lot of things about him that isn't. I won't really get into that, but there's stuff going on with his girlfriend, and there's a bunch of different stuff that goes on that kind of goes against what he's saying. So overall, it's something he's really trying to figure himself out, and it kind of makes sense because I think he's only 24. So like I said, it doesn't excuse him, but it does make sense on why he acted out the way that he did, because, you know, he's trying to like, hey, I'm alpha too, I can talk, you know. It's just kind of stupid. It wasn't really that serious, and Sneako didn't take it that serious until Akademiks told Sneako to take it that serious. Though Akademiks didn't say attack the chick verbally, but they say don't take any disrespect.
Oh, Sneako, take no disrespect.
Now, the lowest hanging fruit, when it was pretty quiet and he was like, okay, you know, Sneako was like to Miss Brazilian, I can see your pubes from here. Completely irrelevant of the actual conversation. Now, if you want to go back and forth, have a little thing that's relevant to the conversation, that's fine. But then it's like, that was just like, okay, that was like not even low hanging fruit. That was like fruit on the ground. All right, it was pretty bad. That was so bad that actually Mike ended up having to obviously say something when he actually had to say something, because I mean it got pretty ridiculous, right? It just became like a roasting show. As funny as it was, it just was completely unnecessary. So ultimately, my take from this is that Sneako, he was just trying to like man up, so to speak, right? Mike is always chill. Mike is Mike, right? Everybody loves Mike. He's always chilled. I don't know who the other guy was to be 100 with you. And Fresh, I mean, Fresh, we all know he like a beta with money, right? So I'm not even gonna talk about Fresh. The only person that left, you notice how important Myron is. When Myron left, all went out of control, right? So it's actually a little funny because Fresh was trying to end the show, and then Ack was like, no, it's not over, we still going. And then Fresh is like, okay.
That's not Fresh? Exactly. Okay, so hold on, we not done.
Yes, we're done.
You know, I have watched the reactions for Fresh and Fit talking about it, so I understand they do have roles, but let's just be honest here. We all know Fresh doesn't have any backbone. He's the cool guy with the cars and stuff like that. He never was really like about that, right? But Myron is the whole show. I think that kind of proves Myron is the whole show. Without Myron, there is really no show. It gets out of hand and becomes just like a roasting fest. Now, the main thing I want to say, and this is my final thoughts on the thing, I'm gonna wrap this video up, is, you know, Akademiks of beta, does it change from alpha or beta or vice versa for the rest of them? No, because Akademiks doesn't even believe in that stuff. And actually, Fresh and Fit said it themselves. Like, he's not with the red pill. He's not trying to be anything extra. He's just an entertainer, a rapper, a goofball, a guy that's humorous. He's always been that. As for Sneako, he's still trying to figure himself out. He's right about a lot of things, but he's confused about a lot of things, obviously, considering he doesn't really know how to act. And usually Sneako handles things very charismatic and very intelligent. That's why I like watching Sneako, I watch his content. But I guess he was drunk and influenced by Akademiks, so he just started like roasting. And Sneako's never been about roasting. He's always been very, very tactful and charismatic about how he does things. He does roast chicks, but it's just far more tactful and far more enjoyable. So Sneako a beta for that? I don't think so. It's just got out of hand. There's no one to really direct it, and without Myron, this is pretty much what the show would be. So yeah, those are my final thoughts, guys. I want to know what you guys think. I just want to cover this a little bit because I think people are kind of seeing this the wrong way. But that's gonna be it for the video, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe, comment, help me get my video out there in this jungle that we call YouTube. Without further ado, that's gonna be it for the video. I'm not arrogant, I'm just confident, and thank you for watching.